Do you ever feel trapped in the life everyone expects from you? Like you're stuck being the same person day after day? Deep down, you know you need a reset. This video will show you how to step away, disappear for a while, and come back completely transformed. Stay with me, because this might change the way you see yourself. In a world of constant noise, notifications, opinions, and expectations, our attention is pulled in every direction. The more we're seen, the less we see ourselves. True clarity is found in quiet. Choosing silence is a radical act of self-preservation, a chance to reset, reflect, and reclaim your voice. This is the promise of silence, to become the author of your own story. We have become prisoners of a world that never sleeps. The digital age promised freedom but delivered a gilded cage of perpetual availability. Notifications, emails, and alerts demand our constant attention. True progress requires deep focus. The world won't grant you permission to disconnect. You must grant it to yourself. Reclaim your focus. Constant connection comes at a cost we rarely notice. We lose presence, trading real moments for digital distractions. Surrounded by others, we feel alone. Social feeds show only highlights, fueling comparison and doubt. The ultimate cost is the loss of self. To find ourselves again, we must step away from the noise. There was a time when retreat was not seen as an act of weakness, but as a source of immense strength. Great thinkers, artists, and leaders throughout history understood its power. They knew that to create something new, to solve a complex problem, or to find spiritual clarity, one had to step away from the daily grind. They would seek out the solitude of the desert, the mountains, or a quiet study. This was not escapism. It was a strategic withdrawal. It was an intentional journey into the silence to wrestle with big ideas, to face their own demons, and to return to the world with a renewed sense of purpose and vision. This is the lost art of retreat. In our modern culture, we have forgotten this wisdom. We view any period of non-production as wasted time. We glorify the hustle, the grind, the relentless forward motion. The idea of taking a day, a week, or even a month to simply think and be is seen as an indulgent luxury, if not outright laziness. We have lost the ability to be still. We fill every spare moment with podcasts, music, or scrolling, terrified of what we might find in the silence. We have become so accustomed to the noise that the absence of it feels like a void. But it is in this very void that creativity, insight, and transformation are born. A retreat is not a vacation. A vacation is often just a change of scenery for the same distracted mind, a frantic attempt to cram in as much activity and stimulation as possible. A true retreat is the opposite. It is an exercise in subtraction. It is about stripping away the non-essential, the meetings, the social obligations, the digital tethers, to create a space of profound simplicity. In this space, the mind, free from its usual burdens, can finally begin to heal and expand. It can make connections it was too busy to see before. It can hear the faint whispers of intuition that are normally drowned out by the shouting of the world. Reviving this lost art in your own life is a revolutionary act. It does not require a monastery or a cabin in the woods, though those can certainly help. It can begin with small, deliberate pockets of retreat in your daily life. It could be a walk without your phone. It could be an hour of journaling before the world wakes up. It could be a weekend with no plans and no screens. It is about reclaiming solitude as a necessary practice for a well-lived life. It is about remembering that the quality of your output is directly related to the quality of your input. And sometimes the most valuable input is no input at all. I want to hear from you. If you could vanish for a month and return completely transformed, what would you leave behind? And what would you bring back? Tell me in the comments. Your story might help someone else. To truly escape the noise, you must do more than just wish for quiet. You must actively architect it into your life. You must build a fortress of solitude. This is not a physical place, although it can be. It is a system of boundaries and habits designed to protect your time, energy, and attention from the constant invasions of the outside world. It is your personal sanctuary, a space where you are unreachable, where you are free to do the deep work of transformation. The construction of this fortress is one of the most important projects you will ever undertake. It is the foundation upon which your new self will be built, The walls of your fortress are made of strong boundaries. This means learning to say no. No to the invitation that doesn't align with your goals. No to the request that drains your energy. No to the reflexive urge to check your email every 5 minutes. It means setting clear office hours for your mind, times when you are open to the world and times when you are closed for essential maintenance. This will feel uncomfortable at first. People may not understand. You may feel a sense of guilt or fear of missing out, but every no to an external demand is a yes to your own internal priorities. Inside your fortress, you must cultivate practices that deepen your connection with yourself. This is where the emotional reset happens. Practices like meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in silence are not passive activities. They are active forms of mental training. They teach you to observe your thoughts without judgment, to untangle your emotions, and to become comfortable in your own company. This is the inner work that the noise of the world prevents you from doing. It is about clearing out the mental clutter so you can see what truly matters, what needs to be healed, and what needs to be changed. This is the work that no one else can do for you. Finally, you must defend your fortress relentlessly. The world will constantly test its walls. The temptations of distraction will always be there, knocking at the gate. This is why discipline is crucial. It is the disciplined commitment to your solitude that will make the difference between a temporary break and a lasting transformation. Building this fortress is not about shutting the world out forever. It is about creating a sacred, protected space where you can retreat, recharge, and rebuild. It is from this place of strength and clarity that you will eventually emerge, ready to re-engage with the world, but this time on your own terms. When you step away from the noise, when you disappear for a while, you're forced to face yourself. And let me tell you, that part can be heavy. The thoughts you've ignored, the pain you've buried, it all shows up. But you don't have to go through that part alone. Talking to someone who understands isn't weakness, it's transformation. If you've ever thought about therapy but kept putting it off, this is your sign. Use the link in the description and the code THERAPY20 to get 20% off your first month. Sometimes disappearing from the world is what you need, but healing, you don't have to do that in isolation. There is a strange power in absence. When you step back, you create a vacuum. People notice, wonder, and become curious. This is the magnetic pull of mystery. Scarcity increases value. In a world of constant sharing, a little mystery sets you apart. Your silence, your absence, can be the fertile ground for transformation, both in how others see you and how you see yourself. We are taught to believe that power comes from being seen, from having influence, from being at the center of the action, but there is a different, deeper kind of power that comes from strategic absence. When you are always engaged in the fray, you are constantly reacting. You are fighting battles on other people's terms, spending your energy on trivial conflicts and endless debates. To step away is to reclaim your power. It is a refusal to play a game you cannot win. By removing yourself from the equation, you deny others the ability to drain your energy. You starve the drama of the attention it needs to survive. Your absence becomes a quiet, powerful statement of your own priorities. This is the strength of the Stoic. The ancient philosophers understood that true power lies not in controlling external events, but in controlling your response to them. By disappearing, you are choosing not to respond. You are preserving your most valuable asset, your inner peace. In the silence you create, you can observe the world from a distance with clarity and perspective. You see the patterns you missed when you were caught up in the chaos. You understand the motivations of others more clearly. This detachment is not coldness. It is a form of strategic intelligence. It allows you to move with intention rather than being pulled around by the whims of the world. History is filled with examples of leaders who used absence to consolidate their strength. They would retreat from public view, allowing their legend to grow. Their silence made their eventual words carry more weight. Their scarcity made their presence more impactful. By not being constantly available, they became an event. This principle applies to your own life. When you are selective with your presence, your contributions become more meaningful. When you speak less, people listen more carefully. When you show up, you are fully there, bringing a focused energy that is impossible to ignore. Your absence amplifies your presence. This strength is not about dominance over others, it is about sovereignty over yourself. It is the strength to walk your own path, regardless of whether anyone is watching or applauding. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are engaged in the deep work of self-improvement, hidden from view. While others are busy performing for the crowd, you are in your workshop, sharpening your skills, honing your mind, and building your character. This unseen work is the true source of your power. It is the foundation that cannot be shaken because it was built in the solid ground of solitude, not in the shifting sands of public opinion. If this resonates with you, if these words are sparking something inside you, subscribe, because there's a lot more coming, and I promise you'll want to hear it. Transformation needs space. Just as a seed needs soil and a painter needs a canvas, you need a clear, uncluttered space to reinvent yourself. Disappearing is the act of creating this sacred void, physically, mentally, and emotionally. In this emptiness, you can finally hear yourself think and consciously design your future self. The power of absence lies in its potential. A strategic disappearance isn't running away. It's a planned, purposeful retreat to reinvent yourself. Define your goals, set boundaries, and protect your time. This is a focused sprint, not a permanent exile. Return changed, moving through your old life with new strength and clarity. The process is the disappearance, the point is transformation. When you finally shut out the world, a new sound emerges. Absolute silence. At first it's deafening. Without distractions, you're left with yourself, your thoughts, your anxieties, your truth. The silence feels uncomfortable, but it's a necessary trial. Sit with it. Slowly, discomfort gives way to calm. The silence becomes your ally, and you begin to find peace within. In the quiet of solitude, you meet the ghosts of your old selves, not supernatural, but memories and regrets. These are the insecure, fearful, or regretful versions you once were. In daily life they hide, but in silence they emerge. Facing them is not self-pity, but understanding. By seeing your past honestly, you free yourself. Letting go is a compassionate release, making space for who you choose to become. In solitude, the silence forces you to face the painful truths of your present. Excuses and rationalizations crumble, and you see your life as it truly is. This honesty is painful, but it shatters the victim mentality and brings ultimate accountability. From this acceptance, liberating realizations bloom. You are both the source of your problems and their solution. The painful truths set you free, and you stand on the solid ground of self-awareness, ready to build something new. Facing your past is a dismantling process. Taking apart the old to forge something new. You build a flexible, resilient armor from self-awareness and discipline. Emotional resilience lets you face setbacks without crumbling. Your worth is anchored within, not in others' opinions. With purpose as your North Star, you move forward, light, empowered, and unshaken. The final, and perhaps most profound, stage of the emotional reset is the quiet work of self-acceptance. After the painful confrontations and the forging of new strength, there comes a moment of peace. This is not a passive resignation, but an active, compassionate embrace of who you are, flaws and all. You have looked into the darkest corners of your psyche. You've acknowledged your past mistakes, and you have seen your present imperfections with unflinching honesty. And through it all, you have learned to say, "This is me." And it is enough. This is the ultimate liberation. It is the end of the internal war you have been waging against yourself for your entire life. Self-acceptance is the understanding that you are, and always will be, a work in progress. The goal of disappearance and transformation is not to achieve a state of flawless perfection. That's, frankly, an impossible and frustrating pursuit. The goal is to replace self-rejection with self-awareness and self-criticism with self-compassion. You accept that you will still make mistakes, that you will still have moments of weakness, and that you will still have things you want to improve. But you no longer hate yourself for these imperfections. Instead, you see them as opportunities for growth, as part of the beautiful, messy, ongoing journey of being human. This acceptance allows you to move through the world with a newfound lightness. When you are no longer trying to hide your flaws or project an image of perfection, you can connect with others more authentically. You are no longer performing, you are simply being. This quiet confidence is magnetic. It draws people to you not because you are perfect, but because you are real. You have nothing to prove and nothing to hide. This is the source of true charisma. It is the calm, steady energy of someone who is at peace with themselves. It is the result of the deep, often painful inner work you have done in solitude. The emotional reset is complete when the silence no longer feels empty, but full. It is full of a quiet strength, a deep sense of knowing and a gentle self-love. You have faced yourself and have not looked away. You have dismantled the old you, not with violence, but with understanding. You have let the parts that no longer served you die, and in their place, you have cultivated something stronger, truer, and more resilient. You have reset your emotional compass. You are now ready for the next phase of the journey. The conscious and deliberate transformation of your external life, built upon this unshakable inner foundation. Disappearance is only the first act. Now you stand on new ground, ready to design your next self. You are no longer just the clay. Now you seize the potter's wheel. Imagine the person you want to become. Dream big, but build with small daily steps. You are both the architect and the clay, shaping your future with intention. Disappearing is your secret laboratory, a chance to grow in silence. While the world thinks you're absent, you're building new skills, free from judgment. In private, you can fail, learn, and transform. When you return, you'll be different, empowered, capable, and quietly confident. This is how you change your value both to yourself and the world. Your body is the physical manifestation of your mind and discipline. To transform yourself, you must rebuild your physical foundation through nutrition, movement, and rest. How you eat, move, and sleep shapes your energy, clarity, and resilience. This trinity is how you forge a new physiology. Transformation is as much about what you remove as what you add. Subtracting clutter, physical, digital, and emotional, creates space for growth. Let go of what no longer serves you, from old possessions to draining relationships. Choose what lifts you higher. Make your life lighter, simpler, and aligned with your purpose. Inspiration is fleeting. Motivation comes and goes. True transformation is built on discipline, unbreakable routines that automate excellence. Your routine is your fortress against chaos. Win the morning and you win the day. Start small. Practice your key habits every day until they become automatic. This is the path of discipline. Build your masterpiece, one routine at a time. In a world obsessed with instant results, true change is slow, like an oak tree, not a firework. You've planted the seeds of your new self. Now, let them grow. Progress isn't linear. Some days you'll soar, others you'll stumble. That's normal. Patience is your ally. Trust the process and the power of small, consistent actions. Focus on the daily work, not the distant goal. Find satisfaction in showing up. Treat yourself with compassion. Celebrate small wins, forgive setbacks, and keep going. Transformation is a journey, not a destination. Let patience be the soil for your growth. When your season of retreat ends, you return quietly. No fanfare, no announcements. You re-enter the world on your terms, guided by your new inner compass. Your presence is calmer, more grounded. You listen more, speak with purpose. You're no longer swayed by others. You're the anchor, the eye of the storm. This subtlety is your power. Your change is for you, not for applause. Old patterns try to pull you back, but you carry a fortress of inner quiet. You've returned, not to your old life, but to a new one you're ready to create. The world senses the difference, even if they can't explain it. As you rejoin old circles, people sense something's changed. They know you, but don't. Your calm confidence unsettles some, intrigues others. Old relationships shift or fade. New, deeper connections form with those who resonate with your growth. Your transformation acts as a filter, attracting genuine alignment. The most profound change, you feel like a stranger to your old self. You handle challenges with new strength and clarity. The old you is gone. The new you stands, unrecognizable and stronger. People will ask, "What happened to you?" Seeking a simple story. Resist the urge to explain. Your transformation isn't a soundbite, it's lived, not told. A polite smile and a vague answer are enough. Your actions speak for themselves. Let your reliability, focus and calmness be your explanation. Over time, your life becomes the evidence of your change. Those who matter won't need an explanation. Those who need one don't matter. You don't preach. You simply shine. Your journey mirrors the ancient hero's path: withdrawal, transformation, and return. Every culture tells of the hero who leaves the familiar, faces trials, and returns changed. Your solitude was your wilderness. Your trials were internal. You faced your fears, forged a new self, and now return with wisdom. This is the universal cycle of death and rebirth, letting the old self die so the new can emerge. You're part of a timeless ritual, walking the path of heroes and mystics. Your struggles are not just personal, they're the trials of the hero. You return, not as an escapee, but as someone transformed, bearing the treasure of a new self. The phoenix, a mythical bird, rises from its own ashes, reborn stronger than before. This is the Phoenix Protocol. True transformation requires letting go of the old self, surrendering to the fire, and emerging renewed. Like a snake shedding its skin or a butterfly from its cocoon, you must release what no longer serves you. Burn, rise, and be reborn. You have walked the ancient path, faced silence, and forged a new self. The world is still chaotic, but you have changed. Now you move with purpose, guided by your own compass, no longer shaped by distractions. You engage with intention, letting the rest pass by. The world is the same, but your experience is transformed. This is the freedom of consciously remaking yourself moment by moment. This journey, this blueprint for self-reinvention, is not just a story to be passively consumed. It is an invitation. It is a call to action for anyone who feels the quiet dissatisfaction of a life lived on the surface. For anyone who yearns for something more than the shallow rewards of constant visibility. It is an invitation to question the modern gospel of more followers, more noise, more busyness, and to consider the radical ancient wisdom of less. What if the breakthrough you are seeking is not in the next notification, but in the silence you would find if you turned your phone off for a week? What if your true self is waiting for you just on the other side of the distractions you use to avoid it? To choose to disappear is a courageous act. It is a rebellion against a culture that tells you your worth is measured by how much attention you can command. It requires discipline, patience, and a willingness to face the uncomfortable truths about yourself. It is not the easy path, but the easy path rarely leads anywhere worthwhile. The path of disappearance, of strategic retreat and conscious transformation leads to a destination of profound value, a life of purpose, resilience, and authentic self-possession. It is the path to becoming the person you were always meant to be, before the world told you who you should be. It is the journey back to yourself. You do not need to book a ticket to a remote monastery or abandon your responsibilities to begin. The journey starts with a single, small act of retreat. It starts with an hour of silence instead of an hour of scrolling. It starts with saying no to an obligation that drains you, to create space for something that builds you. It starts with the decision to turn down the volume of the world so you can finally hear the whisper of your own soul. The power to transform your life is already within you. It is simply waiting for you to create the quiet space where it can finally be unleashed. This is your invitation to do just that. So consider this: the world will still be here when you get back. The emails can wait. The feeds will continue to scroll. Everything you fear you might miss will be replaced by something infinitely more valuable. The person you will meet in the silence. The person you will build in the quiet. The person you will become when you are free from the gaze of others. This is the ultimate promise of this path. Sometimes the only way to truly find your life is to lose it for a while. Sometimes the only way to truly live is to disappear first. If this video made you think, share it with someone who might need to disappear for a while too. Like it, subscribe, and most importantly, if you're ready to take the first step toward transformation, click the therapy link in the description and use Therapy20 for 20% off. The world can wait. But your transformation, that starts now.